In today's video, we're unveiling 7 lesser-known grandma hacks that promise to simplify your life and save you both time and money. From ingenious ways to breathe new life into household leftovers to clever storage solutions that minimize waste, these tips have stood the test of time for good reason. Number 1. The forgotten power of soap scraps. Many people toss away small soap pieces once they've worn down, but Grandma knew a variety of ways to get more mileage out of every bar. One of her oldest tricks was collecting leftover fragments in a muslin or mesh bag to create a scrubby pouch for hand washing or bathing. Over time, the bits would fuse together inside the pouch, forming a makeshift bar you could continue to use until nothing remained. Another approach involves grating those remnants into flakes, then melting them in a small saucepan with a little water to form a homemade liquid soap. Some thrifty folks add a teaspoon of glycerin to help the mixture stay smooth and moisturizing. Others like to blend leftover soap bits with warm water and a few drops of essential oil, lavender, eucalyptus, or mint, to create a simple, fragrant cleaning spray for kitchen counters or bathroom surfaces. If you prefer a firmer consistency, pour the melted mixture into silicone molds or ice cube trays. Allow it to cool, and you'll get miniature soap bars ready for travel or guest bathrooms. This method appeals to anyone aiming to reduce waste and cut down on grocery bills. Another little-known hack is using soap scraps as a lubricant for stubborn drawers or zippers. Simply rub the dried bit along the track or teeth, and the gentle residue can ease friction. Beyond that, some crafters dissolve leftover soap in hot water, then soak cleaning rags in the mixture to create reusable wipe cloths. For quick daily cleanups, these long-standing solutions highlight how even the smallest leftovers can have a second life, illustrating Grandma's philosophy that a little creative thinking can transform what appears to be trash into a practical resource. Number 2, homemade citrus enzyme cleaner. Citrus peels often go straight into the garbage, but Grandma discovered that fermenting them can create an effective all-purpose cleaner. Modern zero-waste aficionados have embraced this concept, calling it citrus enzyme. The process involves collecting leftover lemon, orange, or grapefruit rinds in a large jar, then adding a mixture of water, sugar, and yeast, or a small amount of vinegar to encourage fermentation. Over the course of about 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes up to a month, the natural enzymes in the peels break down, producing a liquid that's surprisingly potent for cutting through grease and deodorizing surfaces. After fermentation, strain the liquid and dilute it for everyday use. Many people recommend 1 part citrus enzyme to 1 part water as a good starting ratio. This solution works well on kitchen countertops, floors, and sinks, offering a light, refreshing fragrance while tackling grime or sticky spills. It's important to keep the jar loosely sealed during fermentation to allow gas to escape, preventing pressure buildup. Some individuals like to shake the jar gently every few days, making sure all the peels stay submerged and get evenly broken down. If you find the smell too pungent, adding a few drops of essential oil, such as rosemary or lavender, can balance out the citrus tang. This DIY cleaner appeals to those looking for a greener, budget-friendly method. You're using materials that would otherwise be thrown away and skipping the store-bought chemicals. Plus, the end result is versatile enough to handle most standard cleaning tasks around the house. Many families appreciate how the enzymes help fight bacteria naturally, which can be a bonus for areas prone to germs. By turning ordinary citrus scraps into a potent cleaning solution, Grandma underscores how resourcefulness doesn't require fancy equipment, just a little patience and a few everyday items. Number 3, reusing cooking water. While it might sound too simple to be special, saving leftover cooking water is one of Grandma's lesser-known yet incredibly practical habits. When you boil pasta or vegetables, nutrients often leach into the water, leaving behind a mineral-rich liquid that can be utilized in multiple ways. One option is to let it cool and use it to water your plants, giving them a gentle nutrient boost instead of pouring it down the sink. Some gardening enthusiasts point out that leftover water from boiling eggs also contains traces of calcium, which can be beneficial to certain plants, especially if you maintain a vegetable garden or care for container-grown herbs on a balcony. Another strategy is adding that reserved liquid to homemade soups, stews, or sauces instead of plain water. This subtly enhances flavor and recycles nutrients that would otherwise be lost. Chefs emphasizing frugal cooking often mention that starchy pasta water thickens and binds sauces, helping them adhere better to noodles. This is why many recipes instruct cooks to reserve a cup of pasta water right before draining. Grandma's approach was to label containers of cooled cooking water, freeze them if not used right away, and then incorporate them into future meals. If you're making bread or pizza dough, using cooled potato or pasta water can add a bit of extra depth and softness to the finished product. This hack resonates with those who aim to reduce kitchen waste and make the most of every resource. Some folks even experiment with water left over from rinsing grains, like rice or quinoa, stating that it may act as a gentle plant fertilizer in the garden. It's important to avoid using salted or heavily seasoned cooking water on delicate plants, though, because excessive sodium could harm certain species. Nevertheless, the principle remains the same. You can transform an everyday byproduct into a beneficial addition rather than dumping it down the drain. Number 4. Banana peel magic. Beyond the classic joke about slipping on banana peels, Grandma found plenty of ways to harness their hidden potential. One remarkable hack is using the inside of a banana peel to polish silverware or leather shoes. Gently rub the peel on the surface, wipe it with a damp cloth, and marvel at the renewed shine. Scientists note that the natural oils, potassium, and mild acids within banana peels make them moderately effective for lifting surface tarnish without harsh chemicals. Some people apply this same tactic to keep indoor houseplants looking glossy, swiping the underside of the peel on large leaves to remove dust and add a gentle sheen. Another trick involves burying chopped peels around tomato plants or roses in the garden, an approach that old-time gardeners swear by for delivering potassium and phosphorus to the roots as the peel decomposes. Modern gardening forums confirm that as the peel breaks down, it enriches the soil, although it's wise to chop them finely to speed up decomposition and avoid attracting pests. Some thrifty individuals also use banana peels for tenderizing meat by adding them to a braise or roast, reasoning that the mild enzymes help break down tougher fibers. While conclusive scientific data on that specific practice is limited, anecdotal feedback suggests it can lend moisture to certain dishes. Others prefer to create a banana peel tea by steeping them in hot water, then using the cooled liquid as a natural fertilizer for potted plants. Grandma's overarching logic is that the peel holds more value than most people realize, whether it's for quick household polish, subtle plant nourishment, or reducing the need for store-bought chemicals. This zero-waste mentality has gained traction in online sustainability groups, where people share pictures of their gardens thriving on banana peel, tea, or brag about shiny silver, thanks to a simple rub of fruit residue. It's a testament to the idea that many everyday kitchen scraps can turn into unexpected household allies when given the chance. Number 5. The surprise of Epsom salt. Epsom salt, chemically known as magnesium sulfate, was a secret weapon in Grandma's toolkit for gardening, relaxation, and minor household issues. In the garden, she often sprinkled a small handful around tomato, pepper, or rose plants, claiming it boosted lush foliage and vibrant blooms. Modern horticultural advice is mixed on whether the magnesium found in Epsom salt consistently improves plant health, but numerous gardeners still swear by it, especially for plants known to be magnesium deficient in certain soils. In terms of personal care, an Epsom salt soak remains popular for easing sore muscles. Grandma would dissolve 1 to 2 cups in a warm bath and soak for about 20 minutes. Contemporary health experts note that while the scientific consensus is still evolving, many people find that Epsom salt baths help them relax, reduce minor swelling, and promote better sleep. On a smaller scale, some folks soak calloused feet in a basin of warm water, mixed with a half cup of Epsom salt, then gently scrub with a pumice stone. As for household applications, Grandma used Epsom salt as a mild abrasive to polish surfaces like stainless steel sinks or even tiled floors. She would create a paste by mixing it with dish soap or water, then apply it to scrub away grime. Online forums also highlight that combining Epsom salt with liquid dish soap and warm water can help remove burnt-on grease in pots or pans. Others use it to deter certain pests in the yard by lightly scattering it around garden beds. Though results vary widely, some claim it repels slugs. Regardless of the outcome, the main appeal is that Epsom salt remains inexpensive and widely available. The simple practice of having a box on hand for gardening, cleaning, or self-care continues Grandma's legacy of resourceful, multi-purpose solutions that rely on tried-and-true household staples. Number 6. Regrowing veggies from scraps. Instead of tossing the stubs of green onions, lettuce, or celery, Grandma frequently placed them in a shallow dish of water on the windowsill to encourage regrowth. Many people today have latched onto this method as a way to cultivate a small indoor kitchen garden without needing extra seeds or fancy gear. Green onions are the easiest to regrow. Simply submerge their white bulb ends and root base in a jar of water, and within days, new shoots often start to appear. A quick trim can then add fresh flavor to soups or salads. Lettuce and celery can sprout leaves when placed cut side up in water, though their long-term success rate varies. Some hobby gardeners recommend transferring these budding plants into soil once they show a healthy root system. This step can increase their nutrient intake and reduce the chance of rot from constant submersion. Another lesser-known trick is regrowing basil or mint from supermarket bundles. Snip off the lower leaves, place the stems in a glass of water, and change the water every couple of days. Once roots begin forming, plant them in a small pot. Grandma's approach aimed to get more out of each purchase, stretching grocery budgets and adding a bit of greenery to the kitchen. This technique resonates strongly with modern sustainability enthusiasts who enjoy the satisfaction of harvesting fresh produce from waste scraps. Some families even involve children in the process, using it as a mini science lesson about plant growth and self-sufficiency. While these regrown veggies might not reach the size of store-bought produce, they're still a fun, low-commitment way to sample homegrown flavors without the expense of starting a full garden. It's yet another testament to Grandma's belief that most things can be coaxed into new life if given a little care. Number 7, the aluminum foil ironing trick. Ironing clothes can be tedious, especially when dealing with stubborn wrinkles. Grandma's clever solution used aluminum foil to reflect heat and effectively speed up the process. She would remove the cover from her ironing board, layer a sheet of foil across the surface, and then replace the cover on top. The reflective foil bounces heat back into the underside of the fabric, essentially ironing both sides at once. As a result, you often need fewer passes with the iron, saving time and electricity. Some modern home bloggers echo this hack, noting that it can be particularly helpful for thicker fabrics like denim or heavy cotton shirts, which otherwise require multiple flips and repeated ironing. Another variant of this trick involves placing a small piece of foil under particularly troublesome spots, like collars or cuffs, to intensify the heat in that localized area. Grandma also used foil for a quick fix when ironing pleats or hems, sliding a small folded section of foil inside the fold to hold the shape and reflect more heat. If you find your ironing board cover slipping around, a couple of safety pins or clips at the edges can hold everything securely in place. Contemporary experts on housekeeping forums confirm that aluminum foil is sturdy enough to handle the heat from most household irons, but caution is advised. Foil can become hot to the touch after prolonged use. Keep children and pets away to avoid accidental burns. For those wary of scratching the board or the iron, it helps to use a decent quality cover that fully conceals the foil's edges. Some people even reuse the same piece of foil multiple times if it remains in decent shape, further aligning with Grandma's principle of minimizing waste. When combined with a little steam from the iron, the reflective effect shortens the chore, letting you breeze through a pile of wrinkled laundry faster than usual. This is a prime example of how a simple sheet of foil, often relegated to kitchen duties, can provide a practical solution in a different part of the home. Grandma's age-old methods remind us that sometimes the smallest household items, used creatively, can lead to surprisingly efficient fixes. No complicated gadgets required.